Tuesday, the 1st of October 2024. What a very important milestone we've reached. Of course, important because the final quarter of the year gives the market a sense of where things have been and begin to wind down the year. Technically speaking, the final 90 days of every year, very important to portfolio and investors and portfolio managers, asset managers and companies as well begin to look at things in the backward-looking point of view. Then moving forward into the new year, what will be the strategies? So get into October, put the month of a central bank interest rate decisions of September behind you, and then get a sense of what lies ahead. So that's it in a manner of speaking. Welcome, everyone. Of course, a public holiday in Nigeria with Independence Day. The market started off on a strong note of 0.1%. We saw a very unusual trading of about 1.2 billion shares on Guinness Nigeria, the second largest brewer yesterday. Sentiments were sort of balanced within the banking sector, which went up more than 1%. Then you've got consumer goods and industrial goods on the downside. The market finished off, broadly speaking, positive, as it were. Is that a sense of what we're taking into October? Or the market readjusts tomorrow, Wednesday, when it's reopened? Let's wait and see. The BRVM started the week Monday with 0.6% backfooting here. That's on the BRVM 263.70 on the composite. The Egyptian market continued the week for a Eastern second day in Cairo Monday by 0.41% after some gentle gains we saw on Sunday. Monday was also positive. The Nairobi stock market was down less than 0.1%, a bit of a very thin trading day in Nairobi in terms of a turnover, just around 4.7 million ordinary shares. The GSE was down very sharply, 1.2%, 86,548. The rand was trading around 17.52 to the dollar. The market was strongly traded around the big names in the banks and financial services, First Round, Standard Bank, and Old Mutual, and a couple of others. To look at where the market bled, financial services index, resources, as well as industrial group, the MTN, the telco giant, fell on the trading day. And of course, you're looking at other big names as well on the South African market. Quite a very negative start to the brand new week. But let's see how market moves on in these jurisdictions outside Nigeria today, the second day. Let's move on and see what the big news are within the Eastern African corridor. Tanzania's central bank says it's tightening regulations around digital lenders to ensure that everyone behaves themselves and that investors and traders and people's deposits and monies are not tampered with. Glencore copper mine in DRC is still locked in that 800 million euros royalty row. That's in DRC, Central African region. But the shares of Glencore climbed yesterday on the South African market as the GSE. Kenya is targeting over 132 billion shillings when it lifts its mining ban, while Seychelles has African Development Bank approving $25 million to this island in the Indian Ocean to raise access to renewable energy and create jobs. And finally, in East Africa, Kenya's EPRA has shut down 14 gas stations or outlets for selling contaminated fuel. That's the price you pay for messing up with the market and the people. Consumer protection. Let's take it to West Africa. The World Bank yesterday approved $1.57 billion in fresh loan to Nigeria, but it goes into specific projects around human capital, education, healthcare access for women, reduced maternal mortality, infant mortality as well as repairing and ensuring safety of dams so that flooding would not unnecessarily endanger lives and hectares of farmlands. Irrigation services is also part of what this money is to be spent for. That's the first major loan funding support from the World Bank so far this year for the Tinubu's administration. In the meantime, in earnings news, UBA Group, Nigeria's big lender, Pan-African footprints in the US, in the Middle East, as well as in the UK and France, says its interest income came in 134.3% in the first 6 months of this year. That's taking it to the little above 1 trillion naira level. Profit came in 402 billion naira, and the interim dividend of 2 naira per share will be paid to the shareholders. In the meantime, Access Bank also reporting that is supporting women empowerment in Southern Africa. It's in Zambia as well as in Botswana. That also came yesterday from the also another Pan-African lender, which is Access Bank, which recently completed the acquisition of Bank ABC in Tanzania. Trading resumed yesterday on the shares of Aradale Holdings, an oil and gas company listed on the NESE over-the-counter market, as well as Okitipupa Palm Oil. Those two companies did some share adjustment. That's for Aradale, and the rights issue for shareholders for Okitipupa Oil Palm, which is also, of course, one of the biggest agro-allied companies in Nigeria. Utility tariffs are going up in Ghana. From today, Tuesday, electricity tariffs will go up 3.02% for consumers. Water tariffs will go up 1.86%. Not some good news, as it were, for Ghanaians heading to general elections in December after the tenure of President Akufo-Addo expires, two tenure. Senegal is reporting Wasila's engines will be powering the Boto gold mine in the country. And those are your headlines here in West Africa. Let's go to Southern Africa. Good news for South Africans. Fuel prices will be going down from the month of October. That starts today, will drop to 21 Rand 05 per litre from October the 2nd. I beg your pardon, that will be tomorrow, Wednesday, 2nd of October. The FSCA, the Financial Conduct Authority in South Africa, says is the whole haul of fines, 900 million Rand in full year 2024 against financial services for those who misbehaved. More than 1,000 financial services organizations were sanctioned according to the FSCA reporting for its financial year. Zambia's agri-export earnings were up 12.3%, and copper earnings, however, dipped. That's what our country got to deal with. Zambia is dealing with the drought as we speak right now, but things are going to look a little bit tougher for this year for the Southern African economy. Access Bank, I mentioned that earlier, touching that, improving or raising women empowerment services and products in the Southern Africa with those initiatives in Botswana and Zambia. And finally, in Southern Africa, Fidelity reporting its half year in Zimbabwe, insurance contract revenue up 277%, a profit jump of 135% in the first 6 months of this year, January to June. Earnings per share of 4.84. That's the US dollar, $4.84. There was no declaration of dividend. That's from Fidelity, listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Quite a number of earnings were also on the street there for half year in Zimbabwe, including Ziplo. But let's move on to North Africa. Egypt is reporting that Mashroq is pumping about 29 billion Egyptian pounds to fund 213 projects across the country, while French companies are reporting a total of about 7 billion euros in about 180 projects across the North African economy. The central bank, however, will be launching an investment guarantee agency today, the 1st of October. We'll report to you when we have more details on that. AFDB, the African Development Bank Group, is offering $78 million to the Bank of Africa of Morocco to support its trade financing lending activities across the Morocco's and the North Africa's corridor. And finally, Libya's Eastern Parliament has approved a new central bank governor. Remember the whole brouhaha as to who becomes the new central bank governor. Billions and billions of dollars of oil revenue are piled up in the central bank. So whoever has access to the central bank vaults has access to the wealth of the country in a manner of speaking. The Eastern Parliament has approved it. Let's see what other regions within the country will have to say about the new central bank governor for the Bank of Libya. And those are your headlines this Tuesday, the 1st of October. I am Bosin Amofa. I do have a great day, everyone. Let's get together tomorrow and continue the show from here.